back to Channel 5 News. I'm Obama Oburu.
And I'm Tasha Sharp. And today is March 1st, the beginning of the 32nd Annual Women's History Month.
Today we'll be talking about one of the most important women's suffragists, Susan B. Anthony. Susan B. Anthony was born on February 15, 1820 in Adams, Massachusetts, and died on March 13, 1906 in Rochester, New York.
After this commercial break, we're going to be joined by a special guest, Morg Smith, a historian who specializes in women's suffrage.
Can't get waves. I don't know what to do. I brush constantly, and I mean constantly, and nothing happens. Stupid coarse hair. Whoa! What is this? A magical brush! Time to get some shampoo on my head. Oh yeah, hopefully this works. Oh well. Whoa, I can see the waves forming. Call 1-800-WAVE-CHECK for only $9.95. You can get your wave spinner like me, 360 GZ.
360.
Who is Susan B. Anthony, and what did she do? Today we'll be having historian Morg Smith answer these questions. Hello, Morg.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to the studio.
Of course, it's an honor to be on Channel 5 News.
So, who is Susan B. Anthony?
Well, Susan B. Anthony is one of the most famous, and in my opinion, the most important women suffragists.
Is it true that she was a great public speaker?
Yes, she was. Susan B. Anthony gave as many as 75 to 100 speeches every year in support of women's rights.
When did she realize that there were gender differences?
Well, she joined a teachers' union because her father was a teacher, and in this union they fought for equal rights and equal pay. And this was because male teachers were getting paid about $10 a month, while female teachers were only getting paid $2.50 a month.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did she know any other famous women suffragists?
Yes, Susan B. Anthony met Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and they're credited with initiating the first women's rights and women's suffrage movement in America, and this was in 1851.
What did they do in this association?
Well, this association, the National American Women's Suffrage Association, was formed in 1887, and Anthony and Stanton actually served as the first two presidents. They fought for equal rights, they protested, and gave many speeches in support of women's rights and suffrage.
Wow. How else did they express their views to the public?
Well, they started a newspaper called The Revolution in 1868, and they ran it for 29 months, but then they had to transfer it to a wealthy women's rights activist when the monthly debt was starting to accumulate and they weren't able to pay for it. Luckily, the rich women's activist was able to run the paper for 2 more years, which doesn't sound like a lot of time, but during this time they're able to express their views to the public.
Is it true that she was on the dollar coin?
Yes, she was. She was the first woman on any U.S. currency ever.
Wow, that was a lot of information. Thank you for joining us
Of
tonight.
course, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Owl, how many legs does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. A 1, a 2, a 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
And now here's Austin with the sports.
Howdy everyone, my name's Austin, Texas, and this is your sports report. Today we have the high school championship game for football where the Falcons are going to face off against the Flashes. This will be a very interesting matchup today as the Falcons have a very deadly quarterback and wide receiver combo that will face off against a very solid Flashes defense. This game is definitely a must-see. I'm Austin, and this was your sports report.
For a closer look, we're going to send our on-scene reporter, Jamal, to look at the game.
Now to you, Jamal.
Thanks, Tasha. I'm Jamal E. Tamale from Channel 5 News, and we're reporting live from the high school football championship game between the Falcons and the Flashes. And we had an interesting game here today, and we actually have with us the star quarterback for the Falcons, Raquise Williams. So, Raquise, what happened during that game?
It was a battle between the offense and the defense. We got the job done in the end, but I give my hats off to number 15. Gave me a hard time throughout the whole game, and he gave me one nasty blow on the last play.
So you were down on that last play, and you knew you had to score to win that game.
That's the green.
So, what was going through your mind there?
I was just thinking I need to get the ball to my receiver. Had to put all my strength into that throw, and I was just thinking about my dead grandpa's Requise Senior the whole time.
Oh, well, I bet you made him happy. Great job out there today.
Thank you.
All right, now back to the studio.
Welcome back to Channel 5 News.
For the celebration of Women's History Month, today we'll be having a special guest, Anthony A. Anthony, the great-great-nephew of Susan B. Anthony. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
So, how long ago did your great-great-aunt die?
Well, she died in 1906.
1906, so she never lived to see women gain suffrage.
This is true. She died before the 19th Amendment was passed in 1920.
This is really sad. She wasn't always successful, right?
Correct. She went through multiple failures. My great-great-auntie Susan pleaded to a subcommittee of the New York State Constitutional Convention to revise the Constitution to include women's suffrage. Her effort failed. Also, in 1867, she went all over New York speaking in favor of women's suffrage. Both black and women's suffrage was voted down.
Wow. We think that people need to know more about your great-great-aunt Susan. So we're going to send our on-scene reporter, Jamal, to inform the public about her and ask pedestrians questions.
This is great.
Thanks for coming, Anthony.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
To you, Jamal.
Jamal here. We're going to be walking down the streets, interviewing some people about some of these famous women suffragists, and we actually have a man right up here. Hello, sir. Sir? Sir? Sir, excuse me. Would you like to be interviewed here? Thank you. So,
26 inches.
So,
Centimeters, my bad.
so, excuse me, sir. What do you know about Susan B. Anthony?
She was our first president, right?
Actually, no, she wasn't. She was actually.
She invented the chicken nugget.
You must be thinking of somebody else because she was actually a famous women's suffragist, and in fact, she actually got arrested while attempting to vote, even though it wasn't legal.
Really?
Yes.
It's pretty rad, dude.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, you pass me the ball.
Excuse me, miss. I'm Jamal. I'm from Channel 5 News, and today we're interviewing people about famous women suffragists.
Oh, funny you say that. I know much about women's suffrage.
Oh, that's great. Do you know anything about Susan B. Anthony?
I do, in fact. Susan B. Anthony actually fought for women to have the right to own property.
Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, mister. Can I have a second of your time?
Why, yes, you can.
So, I'm Jamal. I'm from Channel 5 News, and today we're interviewing people about some famous women suffragists. So, do you know anything about Susan B. Anthony?
Why, yes, I do. I heard she was very successful.
And she was very successful, but she also did have her fair share of failures. For example, from 1869 to her death in 1906, every single year she went to Congress to ask for an amendment to give women the right to vote. And she was never successful.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really was. Well, thank you for your time.
No, that's why I think the chicken comes before the egg.
Excuse me, sir. Can I have a moment of your time, please?
Yeah, hold on. Some dingus just started talking to me. Hold up. What's up?
Hi, I'm Jamal from Channel 5 News. Today
Oh.
we're interviewing people about famous women suffragists.
Okay.
So, do you know anything about Susan B. Anthony?
No.
Nothing?
No, I don't.
Well, did you actually know that in 1900, she persuaded the University of Rochester to accept women?
Really? She
Yeah.
did that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, do you think that women should be able to go to college?
Is this gonna be aired?
Yeah, yes. We're interviewing people live.
No.
Back to the studio.
Thanks, Jamal. And now a message from our sponsor.
I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm the second woman to ever serve in the Supreme Court. I'm 86, and I still work out. Oh, it's very heavy. Ooh, feel the burn. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg. One more. hurts training, man. Oh,
Wow, you're good.
yeah.
Good work, Ted. Good, good work.
Buy my book, The RBG Workout, to get ripped like me, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Order this amazing book online today. Only $19.99, free shipping and handling.
Welcome back to Channel 5 News. Thanks to women suffragists like Susan B. Anthony, modern women now have all the same rights as men and are becoming very successful.
Today we'll be joined by the second woman Supreme Court Justice, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, thank you, son. Thank you. Hello.
Welcome, Ruth.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Orange me.
So Ruth, where did you grow up?
I was born in Massachusetts, but I grew up in a low-income, working-class neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York.
So, Ruth, where'd you go to school?
Well, I graduated from Cornell University in 1954, and I finished first in my class.
Did you have any children?
Yeah, my first child, Jane, was born a little after my husband, Martin, was drafted into the military. Snack break.
How long was Martin in the military?
He served for 2 years, and after his discharge, we returned to Harvard, where I enrolled.
How was Harvard?
Well, it was very male-dominated and a hostile environment, and there were only 8 females in my class of 500.
What were your grades like when you were in Harvard?
Well, I passed and excelled academically, and I eventually became the first female member of the prestigious legal journal, the Harvard Law Review.
So, what did you do after Harvard?
Well, I transferred to Columbia Law School in New York City to join my husband, where I was elected into the school's law review. I graduated first in my class in 1959.
What did you experience in Harvard?
Well, I encountered great gender discrimination while seeking employment after graduation. After clerking for U.S. District Judge Edmund L. Palmieri, I taught at Rutgers University Law School and at Columbia, where I became the school's first female tenured professor.
Impressive.
Don't have to tell me twice. During the 1970s, I also served as the director of the Women's Rights Project of the American Civil Liberties Union, for which I argued 6 landmark cases on gender equality before the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wow. You are a very successful woman.
I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Now here's Pablo with the weather.
Thanks, Tasha. We have nice weather across the board here today. As we can see, 63 in Gateway, 64 in Sky Harbor, 64 in Scottsdale. We also have a warm front approaching from the north. As you can see, almost 3,000 degrees in Cave Creek and 2,385 over there in Wickenburg. We also have reports of some odd weather going on in Ahwatukee. We're going to send it down to Jamal for some more information. Thanks, Pablo. I'm Jamal here on scene at Ahwatukee, and the weather here, it's very hot, and there's also been a few meteors coming down from the sky, as you can see them right now. It's actually been pretty dangerous, and I would recommend anyone in the area should vacate the premises. As you can see, it is very dangerous, and I would recommend everybody to get as far away from here as possible.
Thanks for tuning in to Channel 5 News.
Tune in the same time tomorrow to catch our interview with Kim Kardashian.
Uniqua signing off.
Said hi. Dawson, catch.
This is the best thing we got.
I was trying to.
What is she saying? Oh, she's singing bingo.
No, I'm wearing the tie.
So, what did you do after Harvard?
Well, after Harvard, I transferred to Columbia Law School in New York City to meet up with my husband.
Orange?
So, how
Snack break.
Kaylee! Kaylee!
So,
It tasted so bad.
Kaylee!
I'm enjoying this one. Snack break.
how long was Martin in the military?
What was funny?
You got it less juicy.
So,
Snack break.
how long was Martin in the
Yeah. It's literally not that funny for the 50th time.
Was it harder every single time?
You're so bloated on this.
So,
That's a long ass.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Where do I sit?
was deployed in the military.
I'm almost done. It's back.
Come on, Katie.
Well, every year, Susan B. Anthony.
Jackson.
Celebration of that Women's History Month.
I'm in the bitty good bitty. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, 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 oh yeah, yeah. I slapped your mama. Oh yeah, yeah. She voted for Obama. Oh yeah, yeah. You have a pet llama. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Obama. Oh yeah, yeah.